Section 11 of Samson Agonistes. This recording is in the public domain. Recording by Martin Geeson. Samson Agonistes by John Milton. Section 11. Messenger. Chorus, chorus, chorus. Manoah. Occasions drew me early to this city, and as the gates I entered with sunrise, the morning trumpets festival proclaimed through each high street. Little I had dispatched when all abroad was rumoured that this day Samson should be brought forth, to show the people proof of his mighty strength in feats and games. I sorrowed at his captive state, but minded not to be absent at that spectacle. The building was a spacious theatre, half round on two main pillars vaulted high, with seats where all the lords and each degree of sort might sit in order to behold. The other side was open, where the throng on banks and scaffolds under sky might stand. I among these aloof obscurely stood. The feast and noon grew high, and sacrifice had filled their hearts with mirth, high cheer, and wine, when to their sports they turned. Immediately was Samson as a public servant brought, in their state livery clad. Before him pipes and timbrels. On each side went armed guards, both horse and foot, before him and behind, archers and slingers, cataphracts and spears. At sight of him the people with a shout rifted the air, clamouring their God with praise, who had made their dreadful enemy their thrall. He, patient but undaunted where they led him, came to the place, and what was set before him, which without help of eye might be assayed, to heave, pull, draw, or break, he still performed all with incredible, stupendious force, none daring to appear antagonist. At length, for intermission's sake, they led him between the pillars. He his guide requested, for so from such as nearer stood we heard, as overtired, to let him lean a while, with both his arms on those two massy pillars that to the arched roof gave main support. He unsuspicious led him, which when Samson felt in his arms, with head a while inclined, and eyes fast fixed, he stood, as one who prayed, or some great matter in his mind revolved. At last, with head erect, thus cried aloud: "Hitherto, lords, what your commands imposed, I have performed, as reason was, obeying, not without wonder or delight beheld. Now of my own accord such other trial I mean to show you of my strength, yet greater, as with amaze shall strike all who behold." This uttered, straining all his nerves, he bowed, as with the force of winds and waters pent when mountains tremble. Those two massy pillars, with horrible convulsion to and fro, he tugged, he shook, till down they came, and drew the whole roof after them, with bursts of thunder, upon the heads of all who sate beneath, lords, ladies, captains, counsellors, or priests, their choice nobility and flower, not only of this, but each Philistian city round, met from all parts to solemnize this feast. Samson, with these immixed, inevitably pulled down the same destruction on himself. The vulgar only scaped who stood without. O dearly bought revenge, yet glorious! Living or dying, thou hast fulfilled the work for which thou wast foretold to Israel, and now liest victorious among thy slain, self-killed, not willingly, but tangled in the fold of dire necessity, whose law in death conjoined thee with thy slaughtered foes in number more than all thy life had slain before. While their hearts were jocund and sublime, drunk with idolatry, drunk with wine, and fat regorged of bulls and goats, chaunting their idol, and preferring before our living dread, who dwells in Shiloh, his bright sanctuary. Among them he a spirit of frenzy sent, who hurt their minds, and urged them on with mad desire, to call in haste for their destroyer. They only set on sport and play, unwittingly importuned their own destruction to come speedy upon them. So fond are mortal men fallen into wrath divine, as their own ruin on themselves to invite, insensate left, or to sense reprobate, and with blindness internal struck. But he, though blind of sight, despised and thought extinguished quite, with inward eyes illuminated, his fiery virtue roused from under ashes into sudden flame, and as an evening dragon came, assailant on the perched roosts, and nests in order ranged of tame villatic fowl. But as an eagle his cloudless thunder bolted on their heads. So virtue given for lost, depressed and overthrown as seemed, like that self-begotten bird in the Arabian woods embossed, that no second knows nor third, and lay erewhile a holocaust, from out her ashy womb now teemed, revives, reflourishes, then vigorous most when most unactive deemed. And though her body die, her fame survives, a secular bird, ages of lives. Come, come, no time for lamentation now, nor much more cause. Samson hath quit himself like Samson, and heroically hath finished a life heroic, on his enemies fully revenged, hath left them years of mourning and lamentation to the sons of Caphtor, through all Philistian bounds. To Israel honour hath left, and freedom. Let but them find courage to lay hold on this occasion. To himself and father's house eternal fame. And which is best and happiest yet, all this with God not parted from him, as was feared, but favouring and assisting to the end. Nothing is here for tears, nothing to wail or knock the breast, no weakness, no contempt, dispraise or blame, nothing but well and fair, and what may quiet us in a death so noble. Let us go find the body where it lies, soaked in his enemy's blood, and from the stream with lavers pure and cleansing herbs wash off the clotted gore. I with what speed the while, Gaza is not in plight to say us nay, will send for all my kindred, all my friends to fetch him hence, and solemnly attend with silent obsequy and funeral train home to his father's house. There will I build him a monument, and plant it round with shade of laurel evergreen, and branching palm, with all his trophies hung, and acts enrolled in copious legend, or sweet lyric song. Thither shall all the valiant youth resort, and from his memory inflame their breasts to matchless valour and adventures high. The virgins also shall on feastful days visit his tomb with flowers, only bewailing his lot unfortunate in nuptial choice, from whence captivity and loss of eyes. All is best, though we oft doubt what the unsearchable dispose of highest wisdom brings about, and ever best found in the close. Oft he seems to hide his face, but unexpectedly returns, and to his faithful champion hath in place bore witness gloriously. Whence Gaza mourns, and all that band them to resist his uncontrollable intent, his servants he with new acquist of true experience from this great event, with peace and consolation hath dismissed, and calm of mind, all passions spent. End of Section 11. Recording by Martin Geeson in Haslemere, Surrey. End of Samson Agonistes by John Milton.